Okay, I think this is working. The I asked this class if I answered everybody's questions on for the exam, and I got an answer, but I couldn't hear it. So, did you want to ever repeat that or not?
I sent you an email. You sent one back. I didn't want you to read it until like tomorrow. But I couldn't get back on to tell you which numbers to actually look at, so I just said that all the simplification ones, I read them over and got them all, but dude, I had you switched and went from doing the A naught and B naught to not A and not B, and then I had them just mixed up.
You had them mixed up?
I just had them
Okay.
in different orders.
Have you gone back to see if it was...
It wouldn't let me open it.
Yeah, see, that was...
I was going to tell you the exact
that's
number.
part of the reason I was a little almost late, because you sent me a note saying, would you please turn it on, right? And I tried to, but the problem is I don't know if you, I think you can see it, but I hope it won't let you like try to take the test again.
Well, we can check.
Well, I know that, but the problem is if it, see, it says attempts allowed, 1. Now, I don't know if it shouldn't allow any of you to do this, and I'm afraid to try it because I haven't downloaded the grades yet. Okay?
Mine's really bad right now.
So if I just opened this up, so I don't know how Moodle works all the time, and I still have to do this for the other class. So what I would like y'all to do, don't try this now. Try it maybe later this afternoon. And after class, what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll see, this should have already been populated with all the grades. I don't really want to show anybody's grades, but see, they're going to be popping up here in a minute. But crap, you're going to see people's grades. Anyway, it should have gone all the way over to midterm exam, and so they're there. Now, if I download it, they'll be there. But if you try to take the test, or if you go in there and it thinks it's an attempt, and then it sees it's already past the date, and it says you can't submit this, it might change it to a 0. So don't mess with it until later, okay? Give me a chance to go in there and back up these grades, and then you can go in and mess around with it. I do want you to look at it and see if you made any mistakes. And honestly, for a lot of them, if you told me, look, this one was all right, I started to check it, and if the first, like if it had like 5 terms and the first couple I could find, I said, well, you must have done it pretty good. So I let it go. All right. I hope everybody did okay on the exam. If you did not do as well as you hoped, then just tell me you start needing some quizzes. Okay? And I'll start having quizzes. Now, unfortunately for the DE class, what I'll have to do is tell them right after they've listened to this lecture to do the quiz, scan it, and turn it in, and I'll just have to trust them on only doing it in 10 minutes or whatever. Hi, I can't hear you.
I was able to pull up the review for the midterm. Like, I can see my midterm.
Did it give you a 0?
No. I just clicked on a review.
Just review.
Just review. Right beside the grade.
Could you change anything?
No.
That's priceless.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
That was dangerous, you know that. That was dangerous. But supposedly it's working, so I have to go in and do this for the, I think I've already done it for the DE class. I don't know. And the poor guys in the DE class, believe it or not, it's a lot rougher on them. Two of them, I hate it too, have dropped out of the class because it was, they just can't do the distance ed. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard to do distance ed. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this because you've started on the first two projects, right?
I finished it.
You finished them?
They were due.
Damn, I'm gonna have to start grading some stuff.
Yeah, I'm wondering like how I'm doing on these projects, and I'm just going off of what I did before.
Okay, the problem is, okay, I get excuses from you guys all the time. So here's another one from me, okay? Another one.
It's always fair. My dog ate my computer.
You all know that I'm obviously heavily medicated, right? That's pretty obvious. But one of the medications I take to help my legs is a muscle relaxer. And as soon as I take the muscle relaxer, I usually fall asleep. So I haven't been grading much because I've been taking a lot of muscle relaxers.
Yeah, that was purposely though.
I've got some other stuff that I don't want to tell you about. But anyway, if until I grade them and you hear back from me, assume you're doing it right, okay? Because it's my fault that I'm not getting to it and returning. Because like your lab grades, you haven't gotten anything on those. And I'll start trying to grade some of these soon. I didn't hear anybody say they wanted to help me.
I'll help.
You've been wanting to help. I don't trust you. No. Not when you're going, please let me help. Please let me help. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll get started on them as soon as I can, and I'll try to do a good job on them. Okay, we've been looking at some VHDL. The thing is, Project 3, have you started it? It's not due yet, right? So you're going to wait till the day it's due.
Exactly.
I wish you guys didn't do that. I wish you didn't do that. That got some folks in the distance ed class in trouble for the exam because I think I messed up. I'm not sure if it was Moodle or me, but somehow it took away the link on Sunday and they were allowed to take it Sunday. But it took away the link. And so some of these folks are going, oh crap, I can't get in. And two guys dropped, and I thought it was because of something I did that they couldn't get in. And one of them already responded to my email, said it wasn't me, it was and it was just distance ed is hard to do. So anyway, I do want to get in there and start grading. You've got crap. That's not what I'm looking at. This. Okay, here's your third project that you should. When is this one due? October 26th. Is that this coming Sunday? So you'll be doing it Sunday morning? Sunday afternoon? Oh, great. What if it messes up? What if Moodle messes up? What are you going to do?
Tell you that Moodle messed up.
Tell me. Thank you. Okay. Please don't email them. I'll lose them if you email them. if it starts messing up, email me, but please don't wait till the last minute. It's going to take you the same amount of time if you start at Saturday and then if you start at Sunday, right? So you put in those so you can't hear me?
Oh, I don't. They're not plugged in.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm not that mean.
Okay, you get to do the flip-flops, and but I want you to do this. Did I say that you had to do this with as VHDL? Use schematic capture to place flip-flops in a schematic as was done in the sample report. So that's down here. You can't, I'm sorry I haven't done this. You can figure out how to do this this clock and these signals based on this. So if this is, let's say, just say you arbitrarily say that this is 100 nanoseconds, then that's 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,000 nanoseconds. Okay, so once you do that, then you just decide that every one of these is 50 or 100 nanoseconds and do it that way. I do want you to use these kind of waveforms. I said that we're all looking at the same waveforms. So if you look at each one of these as a 50 nanosecond, then you should be able to go in there and in between here make J go high, and in between here make K go low, and make sure that the clear stays high. On these old ones, the yellow was the output anyway. Okay, and if you're having real trouble with it, yeah, I can. Yeah, here I've got assume each blue mark is 50 nanoseconds, so that should help. Say what?
Can you show one example how to do that, like change your positive to negative?
Yeah, let's try to do that. Okay, it says use schematic capture, place flip-flops in the schematic as was done in the sample report. I think the sample report I'm talking about is back here for was it for logic? No, wasn't for this one. Sorry, what must be is this one that I don't let you get to anymore because that one guy copied it. Okay, now here's the sample report. What he did was he took out my name, put his name in, and same here. No, he kept this, and then nothing else was different. I mean, I did it. He didn't change anything. I even finally did a word, to check to see if these were different versions, and the only thing that was different was the submitted name. That was the only thing. He changed his name here. Now, that's why I'm reading it and I'm going, boy, this is pretty good. I'm going, this is pretty damn good. And the further I got into it, it's like, damn, this is good for this particular guy. You'd have to know him. You know, he wasn't real bright. And look at what version we were using here, version 7. And we're using model sim instead of iSim. But if this is just showing this is a D, this is a D, this is a D. They're all having the same inputs, just like was on your test. This is a level. I can tell because it doesn't have a triangle. This is a positive edge and this is a negative edge. And so the output should look something like that. Okay, and that's why I want your output and my output to look the same. That's why I want your That's why I want your test bench to be the same as mine. So if you go in and assume all those were 50 nanoseconds like I did, your images should look the same for each one of these. Now what I did was went in and said something about, here's T1, and I said something about what was going on during T1 and something that was going on during T2. This could have just as easily been T2, and I could have talked a little bit about it, and you guys can do that too. This one is positive triggered. You can see a positive edge on the clock, and that's where the output goes high. Here's where the negative negative edge is here. So it's saying here this is negative edge, here's positive edge, and then here's the D inputs. So it shows you what the output should be. And then for T, it shows how that works. And this is how I made sure that all your test answers were correct, because I put these in myself to make sure. And then the JK with the positive clock, and this was a positive clock too, but I couldn't find one with a negative clock, so I did this and used an inverter at the input to the clock. And then label these as different times. Now I can make this so you guys can see it, and none of you are stupid enough to copy that, right? Because I would go, damn, that's good, and then I'd check it and I'd say, okay, yeah, I'll try to make sure I do that. So you look at, this is project 4, and that one's going to get more difficult. So is that example project report going to help, or you want to see me do one of those now using Xilinx to get you ready for this? Okay. I'll try. The problem is whenever I try to do this and I haven't practiced, then it becomes a real mess. So I'm going to give it a shot. If I mess up, see, I'm human too. I'm going to mess up just like you would. Here and here, those are both that project. And here, let me see what I was going to try to talk about here. I think I was going to go in here and talk about combinational type circuits. We can do these real quick, and or I can wait till Friday and do them, or Thursday, whenever our next class is. And notice there's hands-on stuff here, so you could get ready for this, and there could be some quizzes in here. Okay, so we're supposed to do a D, negative edge triggered and positive edge triggered, and then a positive level triggered. And then you're supposed to do a positive edge triggered T flip-flop and a negative edge triggered JK flip-flop. Simulate each one and then write a report. So let's go in and see what happens. You guys are ready for me to screw up, aren't you? Huh? Okay, well. Do you really think I'd mess this up? You guys don't know me very well. Uh-oh. Yes. I don't know what that meant. Yes, yes, yes. Let me connect. I don't know why it's doing that. The only place that you should have any trouble on any of this is converting this with using the clock. And authentication failed. Why? Oh, I know why. I put in the wrong password. Oh, I'm not trying to hijack the machine. Just let me log in. They've, you know, the IT people are always saying things about passwords, right? And they're making you do passwords in certain ways because people can get into your machine. I have used a password on my machine for 13 years and no one has figured it out. There was a guy at Central Piedmont when I taught there. I used that one. Networks weren't out there for a while. For a while, we didn't even have computers. But once we got them, and I had I had one, and he was sure, he was absolutely sure it was my wife's name. Well, it was. Do you guys know my wife's name? Yeah. He knew my wife's name. He still couldn't get in. Because she was born in North Carolina, they spell her name wrong. Her name's Melanie, and they don't spell it the way you would normally spell Melanie. So,
What are you trying to say about North Carolina?
Exactly what you think I'm trying to say about it. I'm around here. I wasn't born here, but I've lived here most of my life on purpose. I came here on purpose. So that should tell you something.
You fit right in.
Okay, let's see. I had one called Oh Hell. I don't remember why. Let's try new project. It's going to go in with, let's see, lab 3. I don't want to go into lab 3. Here's all these. And look what this one is, flip-flops. That's probably the one. So if I get in trouble, I can always go back to that one.
Very good point.
No, I can't.
I said it's a very good point.
Oh, that's not what. See, you're taking advantage that I can't hear today, right?
No. I would never take advantage.
Never take advantage of a deaf guy, right?
My girlfriend.
Is she completely?
She's like you. She can hear, but like she can't hear female voices very well because they're a little higher than ours.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's see. Is it going to take that one? Okay, now that's the one I want. Is it going to give it to me? Looks like it. Okay, I'm going to call the project flip-flop 2 also. And now we're doing a schematic. That's what it said to do. So we'll do that. And all this stuff should be the same. Please make it this or you start getting into trouble. iSim, we have it. The other one may say model sim, but we use iSim now. Okay, so don't change this from iSim to something else. It is iSim that we use. If you use model sim and tell me it didn't work, and I see you use model sim, I'm gonna just say dumbass, and I won't help you any more than that. Okay.
So that's your code name for you selected something wrong.
Right. That's the answer for you used model sim instead of iSim. Is I'll simplify that by saying dumbass. Okay. Now we're going to go in and put in here a new source. It is going to be a schematic. Where is it? Up at the top. Thank you. And I'm going to call this the D flip-flops. Okay. Because I'm also talking about this, I may not be able to get them all done today, but you'll at least see this one example. Okay, so Now we got to go for symbols. It's best to keep all of them here. When I open this up so that you can see this example report, in fact, you could probably just pause the recording and get that link, and you'll be all right. But I did say to do the schematics, didn't I? I didn't say to do the VHDL for flip-flops. You do want to do the schematics. It's a little tougher at this point to do those. So here's the D's. Okay, basically we want to do this. It's going to look a little different. That's fine. So the first thing I want to do is look at this, and it says it's LD, FD, and D underscore 1. So LD. Okay, so it does have LD, and I bring that over, and why is it not taking it? Okay, there's LD. Okay, and the next one is what? The next one was what? Was it FD and then FD underscore 1? FD. What are they doing over there?
I really want to go look one day, just see what they're doing.
I don't see just a simple FD.
Would it be the FDE?
No, there it is, FD. And then I'll put in the FD underscore 1. Okay, so I've got all three of them in here now, right? And let's zoom in a little bit on those so I can see them. Okay, the input is there. I want to connect this one up to there, and I want to connect this one up to there because I want all the D's to be exactly the same. I want all the clocks to be exactly the same also. So
You're so lucky you're different.
really, is it doing something weird next door?
I was about to say, I was like,
You know, if I were trying to do that, that faculty member would come over here and tell me to turn it down. So I guess I could go knock on the door and say that's interfering with my class, but you guys also seem to get a kick out of it. So, and you do have to put, whether you want to or not, you do have to put some kind of wire. It doesn't have to be real long, but you have to put some kind of wire. You can't just connect the output flag or whatever they call it, these things, markers, to just the output. It'll mess it up. So we're going to have some, I always add an automatic marker so that it doesn't, I don't have to worry about it. Put one there, put one there, put one here, oops, there, here, and one here. Okay, that should be all of them. Now, I want to go in and make this one D. I hear something. Okay, there's D, and it applies to all those, and here's clock, and I'm going to just say CLK, and apply, and OK. Okay, now we should be able to see that without too much trouble, right? Okay. Then over here, this was the level triggered, right? It just says gate here. So I'm going to call this Q, and I'm going to say L. Now on the other one, I put D and L, but I'm going to call this one QL because it is an output. And then on this next one, it was tied to a D flip-flop, but it was a positive edge clock, so I'm going to call it QPE. All right. And then on the last one, it's going to be a negative clock edge, so I'll call it QNE. Okay, and I'll apply it. Okay, so I should have, everything on there, and we should be able to see it all right now. Okay, save it. And if I go back to my design, I should see this, and it should say, with that, it should say XST, synthesize. So we do that. Now, should I see LUTs on this?
No,
Why not?
because you didn't build the.
It's a schematic, right? I didn't do a VHDL. So it's not really going to simplify this too much. Okay. No process is running, and I don't see anything under synthesize. It should have shown me something. It did. Okay, there it is. All right, I really don't need to go any further than that. So the next thing is, right, so the next thing is I've got to go under simulation and tell it I want to add another new source, and this one's going to be a test bench. And you know how I do this. It's a D flip-flop test bench, right? Say next. It does go with this, and I say next, and finish, and it should come up with some basic stuff for me. Now, it does come up with the entity that's got the 1D input, the 1 clock input, and these 3 outputs. It shows all the signals. Now, why would you think it would refer to some of this stuff as signals? It's just, we can still get to all of them. Okay, anyway, here it goes. And now that I want a clock, oh, it doesn't put one in for me. And that's very nice of it, isn't it? Remember all these other times it's put it in. And right now, I can't remember the syntax for the clock. Do you remember the syntax for the clock? Well, I don't want to mess this up, right? So I'm going to go in and let's see. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to go to my documents, and I'm going to go, let's see, H and profile and personal, and I'm taking a guess at where these are. 31, 32. Is it under there? I thought it was under labs. It is flip-flops too, but the other one was under flip-flops. And level D, and here's guess what? It doesn't have the right kind of test bench. This shows the VHD. Hopefully it'll be the VHDL for this. Yeah, it did generate a VHDL. So here's my clock period. We don't have to put this in there, but we do have to tell it that we got a constant, and we don't have to give it clock period and tell it what time it is, but then we can refer to this all the way through here and make sure everything's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and leave that and say that we've got it, and it goes right before the begin on the port map. So we look here and we look at the begin on the port map, and I go ahead and I put it right there. Okay. Now this is a constant. It's clock period, and it's going to be 100 nanoseconds. That's all right, because I said to make each one of those blue lines in the where is it? In in this, to make each blue line of 50 nanoseconds. But then if this blue line is 50 nanoseconds, this white part of it's 50 nanoseconds also. So the whole clock is 100 nanoseconds. And then, okay, so I got 100 nanoseconds. And then I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to type this part in, but I'm going to take a look at it and show you. First, it's got this for the clock, and that's the process for this particular clock, okay? And this is where, if I wanted you to, now where did it put that? It put it right after the port map, didn't it? I better get all of this. Right after the port map, right in here. Okay, now let's look at this. This is a process. We haven't done that kind of stuff before, but it's the same kind of thing we've done before. We're telling it to do this over and over again. We're saying our clock should be assigned the value of 0, and then wait for that constant I had way up here called clock period of 100 nanoseconds, make it that divided by 2. So it makes it a 50% duty cycle. And this, make it 1 for 50 nanoseconds. All right? Now, this is a real nice way to do things, so that if I tell you to make it a 25% duty cycle, you can say clock period times 0.25 and 0.75, right? So you can, it just makes it, I think, a little bit easier to do that. Okay, now we got to go in and we got to figure some of this other stuff. I said to wait for 15 nanoseconds. I did that because of the way that these looked. Wait a minute, where is it? Waiting for 15 nanoseconds. It was more for this down here. I wanted to have a chance, because the JK and the T have a clear on them. I want it, and that's an active low clear. So I wanted to make sure I told it to clear it first, so that I knew it started low, and then go high and stay high for the whole time, so that it would be able to work. The D's did not have a clear on them. They just had that. Okay, so I do want to wait for 15 nanoseconds. And now here, this is kind of silly. I'm going wait for 10 nanoseconds, wait for 10 nanoseconds, wait for 10 nanoseconds. Actually, I could have done it a lot different and just said, how was that? Wait for, I think it's wait for clock. We'll have to look at that. It's been a while since I've worked with this. of doing the clock periods, but it's wait basically for the clock. We're going to wait for 50 nanoseconds. But this clock is going to run all by itself. Okay? We're going to start with a 0, then it's going to go to a 1. So here, by starting at 15 nanoseconds, it's going to offset it a little bit. So we're going to, where are we? We are going to start this, and we are going to wait for, I'm going to make it 25 nanoseconds since I kept everything else as 15 nanoseconds. Okay, now I'm going to say, I'm going to try to do this. Okay, now I know where the clock is, and I'm going to say that if right here I've got, let's go back and look at this. I know the clock is low, and it's going to be low for how long? 50 nanoseconds. So here, it's going to be low for 50 nanoseconds. Here I tell it, wait for 25. So it's going to have another 25 nanoseconds, and I'm trying to make it look like this. It's going to have another 25 nanoseconds. So I'm going to make D assign a 1. And now if I left it, let's see, that would be 50, and that would be 100. And so after 100 nanoseconds, we'll get a chance to see what this looks like. 100 nanoseconds, I want it to go low. So we should see that this clock period goes high while D is high, right? So we've got D is assigned to 1, and then we wait for, what is it? What did I just say, 100 nanoseconds? Okay, and I'm really trying to make it look like this, and I'm going to tell you my first chance, it's not going to look like this. I'm going to try my best to do that. So this looks like 150 nanoseconds, so I'm going to say D is assigned 0, and then a semicolon, and then I'm going to wait for, it only had one block, right? 50 nanoseconds, isn't that right? And then the next one, it was high for only one block, that's another 50 nanoseconds. So I say D equals 1, and it's going to be 0 for a certain amount of time too. See, so see, you could do this different, but then I'm not going to know, is it the same? I'm not going to be able to just look at it and see, does it look the same? So I got 100 nanoseconds, 50 nanoseconds low, 50 nanoseconds high. This looks like it should be what, 100 nanoseconds? And then 100 nanoseconds? Okay. So this is 100 nanoseconds low. Okay. Then I'm going to make it, this is it. You'll at least be able to print it out and have this next to you. Okay. I'm not able to do that. So now I'm going to make it high for, is that what I'm doing? It's low for 100 nanoseconds. Now I'm going to make it high for 100 nanoseconds. Right? Now my low time, that's this one. How long is that supposed to be low? 100 wait. I made it high. I'm going to mess it up. I told you I'm going to mess this up. 100 nanoseconds, 50, 50, 100, 100. So it was 50, 50, 100, 100. Now I have to make it low for 50, 100, 150, 200 nanoseconds. Okay. Now the clock should be going high in the middle of that. Let's hope I've got this right. Okay, now I should be here, and I say D goes high for 50 nanoseconds. I hope I'm doing this right. What if I'm messing up? Do you guys know where I'm messing up if I am messing up? Are you going to tell me now, or are you going to wait till later?
We'll wait until later.
Okay, thanks. You're going to wait till it shows you, and then you're going to say, okay, this is where you messed up. Okay, I said 50 nanoseconds. Now it's 0, and it's going to be 0 for 100. Then it's going to be high for 100 again. 100. And now I'm going to say high. See, I think this was a mistake, but you guys wanted me to try this. So high for 100, and then low for how long? Low for 50, 100, 150. Okay. Then I'm going to stop here real soon, and we're going to go out and give it a look and see what it's doing. This says that we were right here, so it's high for 50, then high or low for 50, high for 50, low for 50. That's pretty easy to do. So 50, we get rid of that one, and then we just copy this. I want to get to the next, let me save this. I don't want to mess that up too bad. That was these. I want to get to at least here, and that's 250. Okay, and then low for 100. Okay, so we'll do that. High for 250. High for 250, and low for what? 100. Okay. I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop here, and okay, and we're going to see what happens. Now, it's just the first part of this that, and it should repeat, but we should be going from about here to about here. Okay, so let's see what this is going to look like. Okay, so I've got this, and I've got that, and I have it saved. I could do the check syntax, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm a little cocky, so I'm saying I know I'm right, and double click that so it starts going. So the syntax is okay, or it would have stopped by now and given me errors. And so now it should start the iSIM stuff, and it is. Okay. All right. So what do we do? Click this one. Ooh. Okay. What is this?
That's the 25 that you had.
So for part of this time here, I didn't know what D was. I thought I did tell it what D was. I'm sorry. Did I not tell it at the very beginning what D was? No, it waited for 25 nanoseconds without D being anything. Okay, so that makes sense. So it didn't know. Now I've got something off here, right? the clock is high. And, oh, here's the clock. I'm sorry. That's going to mess me up. I like my clock to be above my. Uh, I like it to be above this stuff. So let's put. Why is it not doing that? Come on.
There you go. You had them all highlighted.
I did? Okay.
Now
So,
it's
okay, so there. I've got my clock. Let's go back to the beginning. This, I pull that way over here. Come on. I don't need that. Okay. So that doesn't quite look like that's right, does it? Because my clock in here is a whole lot higher. I've got all this going on. So my clock should have stayed high, it looks like, for about 500 nanoseconds and then low for a while. Isn't that what it should have done? So then I can fix that real good and just say, all right, this is 1,000 nanoseconds. Save that. And this may not be, yeah, I might have to do some other stuff. I might have to do some other stuff to make this right, but for now, that's what I'm going to do. I've already saved this. There, we're going to do simulate behavior. Can't believe it's already 3 o'clock. Oh. Let's see what we got. Okay. You think that worked? Except the clock is a little bit different, right? Okay. So this, where's the size up here where I tell it how long it can be? Where is that? Somewhere up here I tell it how long I allow the whole thing to be. Where is this? This isn't going to work very well. I can't hear you. Where?
Arrow at the
to the right.
to the right,
All the way to the right.
right above the scroll bar.
Right here?
All the way to the right.
That double black arrow.
Right. Up and hard right.
All the way.
There it is.
Here?
No. To the right.
There it is.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
On the version I'm used to using, it's a little different. Okay, so we don't want 1 microsecond. We want like 1 millisecond or something, right? And now it should show it a little bit different. All right, so I can come down here and look at this little part right in here, right? And here's where it goes positive. And look at D or Q level is following the clock, or I'm sorry, following D as long as the clock is high. And then here the clock went low. And so it's staying low all the way until the next time it goes high. And then it starts following the clock again. Now here it's showing that it sees this as a high, and that's why it's staying high this whole time. So this looks like, even though I didn't get it working right, I could fiddle around with this and get this clock looking right. Can I? Don't you think? I could do some real simple stuff at the very beginning. This is 500 nanoseconds, so I could say do something real simple here and say wait for 450 nanoseconds, okay, and then it should. Now it'll probably be low for a long time, but let me get rid of this. Yeah, let's just do that for now. Forget that. No, I don't want to save it. All right, let's run it again and see what it looks like. I did not take the best way to do this, okay, by saying wait all this time. Uh, you can see why that's not a very good way of doing it. If I don't like the way that looks, um, uh, if I don't like the way that looks, I could just assign D equals 0 right before then, and it should be okay. Okay, so let's move over a little bit, and now I've got the 500. Now D's doing this. There it's low. Is that what it looked like? Here it's low, and so it should follow. See how that's low? Then I got a couple of highs in here and then a low. Now I went off a little bit here, and so I could go out and make that time low a little bit longer so that I could fix this up, in other words. Do your best to make your waveforms look like this, okay? Now, I should be able to go in there and look, but see, I want to see I want to see some time where T is high, so it's toggling on positive edge. And I want to see some time where it's low, so it stays the same. And then here again, so if it's positive edge triggered, I want to see it toggling and then staying the same and then toggling. And same kind of thing here with all these. You can kind of get an idea of what it is I'm looking for. If this is negative edge triggered, I'm looking for Q to be set, Q to be reset, Q to toggle, Q to toggle, Q to toggle, etc., etc. Okay, it's kind of what I'm looking for on that output. So anyhow, does that make sense on what I'm looking for on this? Yes? No? This group isn't talking to me, so I don't know if this is making sense. Or they are talking to me and I can't hear a damn thing they're saying. I just don't like this orange, so I'm going to go in here and real quick tell it that D is assigned a 0 just to get it started. And there's somewhere in here where you can tell it to keep that for 1 millisecond all the time. And I don't remember where that is, but Okay. Okay, we're going to wait for 100 milliseconds, and I'm going to zoom all. Oh, well, maybe I didn't want to do it like that. Let's zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and zoom in and zoom in. Okay, is that better? Just a little bit past that first one. And again, I want to bring D down. You could see why you might want to put, what was it, a divider. Where is it? New divider. Okay, I want this. I don't want a name for it. And I do want it up above that. Okay. So you could see why you might want some dividers in there now. Why is it turning it purple? Is that like a default color? Why not just make the default color black? There we go. Okay. You could also put dividers between here and here. And what I did on my project, where did I put my project? Here it is. I left them all here the same, which you could do if you wanted to do one at a time. You could just go in here and tell it, wait a minute, I've got to pull up Paint. Okay, so I want to go in here and I want to do a Alt print screen and then go into Paint and do a Control V, and I see this whole thing. So obviously I didn't get a good shot of that, but I could just do this and just not pick up the others, and I could move those around later, right? So I could say there's my output. And that's not a very good shot, but I could do that. I probably, if knowing me, I would not do that. I would make it look the very best that I could before I turned it in.
Do you want us to have all of them on one and just have dividers between them? Or you want us to build them individually?
You can.
And then
That's,
just have the divider and slide each one up to make it.
That's what I've got here. But I talked about each one, I think, separately. Okay. Either way, I did talk about them separately, even though I have them all on the same picture. I shared the same picture several times. Okay. Now, I don't know what you use for this. I know when I go in to make images and I start trying to change that, I can do that in Paint. I close Paint out. But if you mess it up, once you put something in Paint, it keeps it. So if you don't have any other kind of drawing paper or drawing program, you're going to mess it up. So what I used to do was go in to take this image and then put it in PowerPoint, and then go ahead and put in some other stuff, some lines and some other text, and then take another picture of that and put it in my report. That's how I got the red lines in. That's how I got T1 and T2 in here. And I did it that way so I could keep editing it and making it look different if I wanted to. Like here I wanted to show positive edge. Here I wanted to highlight negative edge. And here I wanted to highlight the time that it was high, that's when this should be changing. Okay? So obviously it might be a little difficult here to get your test bench just exactly right. If you really wanted to, I mean, I've got I do have 5 more minutes too. I do have this one, and I could have just taken, if I had wanted to, I could have taken this. Oh, it's already on there, isn't it? So I could have taken this and just copied that whole thing. Now, I could do that because I had already done this, right? So now some of you are going to ask for that file, and there it is. And that one doesn't look right either because look, it's always wait for 10 nanoseconds, wait for 10 nanoseconds. So this one isn't right either. Okay. That's what I've got. Save it. There's my simulation. Let me get rid of this one. Okay. Then Thursday we'll go over this other stuff that I've got that we need to go over. Now I'm not even sure that this is correct. It doesn't look like it is, does it? Because I've got this as a whole mess. What did I do?
You probably named it differently in test bench than schematics.
I did something really weird there. It didn't look right with all the 10 nanoseconds, 10 nano. Huh? Where did it go? Okay. What did I do? I keep going up.
Yeah, see, you named only Q, where in schematics you named QL. I mean, yeah. So that's what's throwing it off. In schematics, we named the output QL.
That's right. Here I called it QL, and this old one I called it something different. You're right. Thank you. Boy, he spotted that fast. I would not have been able to find that one. Not that fast. Okay. So you think it'll do something now? It's I've got to do it a couple other places here, like there, and we're almost out of time. We're almost just right there, and here. Is there any other places? No, I think that's it. Okay, so save it, simulate it. We're going to cross our fingers. I told you I wouldn't get it right. This still isn't going to be right because those 10 nanosecond divisions aren't what I was wanting for the output. And why is that? Do you know why that's still there? Because why is that still there? I never
We also have three outputs instead of just one as well.
I don't know if that was it or not. I think I did something else in there. I don't know what it was. Okay. I'm sure the other stuff that I had was better. Uh, and it did work kind of good. We would have had to mess around with it a bit. All right. So, does that help get you all started?
Yes, sir,
Not perfect, but it gets you all started. I told I told you it was. Wait, I'm talking to them, the DE folks. I told them it wasn't going to work right the first time, and it didn't. But I'll try to make sure that everybody can get to this example and make sure you guys can get this right. If you still have problems with anything on the test, let me know and I'll fix it up. Okay. See y'all next uh, next time.